1959, Le Mans, France. Winning the brutal 24-hour endurance race here is the absolute peak of international motorsport, but the man leading the pack was hiding a lethal secret. On the straightaways, reaching speeds over 150 miles per hour, he was popping nitroglycerin pills just to keep his failing heart pumping. That man was Carroll Shelby. He looked nothing like the polished European aristocrats he was racing against. He was a skinny kid from Texas who wore a cowboy hat and striped overalls, yet he was outrunning the world's elite drivers in a British Aston Martin. He won the race, but the victory lap didn't last. The heart valve problems he had suffered from since childhood were finally giving out. At just 37 years old, doctors delivered the verdict. His racing career was permanently over. For a man whose entire identity was measured in RPMs, being barred from the driver's seat was a death sentence. He had to figure out how to stay in the world of speed when his own body refused to let him compete. Instead of retiring to the commentary booth, Shelby decided to engineer his way back to the track. He wanted to build a machine capable of hunting down European racing empires. This diagram shows his starting point. He found a small British manufacturer called AC Cars, making a brilliant, incredibly nimble roadster chassis. They had the handling perfectly, but lost their engine supplier. Shelby looked across the ocean. Ford had just developed a brand new, massive V8. He dropped that heavy, cast-iron muscle straight into the tiny British body, creating a massive spike in the horsepower-to-weight ratio. He called it the Shelby Cobra. Because it weighed hundreds of kilograms less than its European competitors, while producing enormous power, it immediately became one of the quickest production sports cars on the planet. The math worked. But a fast street car wasn't enough. Shelby wanted a fight on the global stage, and he soon found a corporate ally with very deep pockets and a massive grudge. Henry Ford II desperately wanted the international prestige that came with winning Le Mans. To get it quickly, he spent months negotiating a deal to buy Ferrari outright. The paperwork was practically signed when Enzo Ferrari walked away. He realized Ford intended to control Ferrari's racing division, and Enzo refused to surrender his life's work to executives in Detroit. Humiliated, Ford ordered his engineers to beat Ferrari on the track, no matter the cost. They poured millions into developing the GT40 race car. The early prototypes were wildly fast, but they were a disaster in practice, routinely stalling, smoking, and breaking down mid-race. This schematic illustrates the core flaw in Ford's early approach. The initial engineering was intricate and complex. Under the punishing 24-hour stress of endurance racing, those delicate linkages disintegrated. Ford brought Shelby in to stop the bleeding. He ripped out the fragile systems, replacing them with heavy-duty, reinforced components, trading theoretical efficiency for absolute reliability. By the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans, Shelby's reinforced GT40s were ready. They hammered the track for hours. This time, under relentless pressure from the heavy American machines, it was Ferrari's complex cars that began suffering mechanical failures. When dawn broke, Ferrari's 6-year winning streak was finished. Ford claimed the top 3 spots in a historic formation finish, cementing absolute dominance over the race. Shelby couldn't steer the cars himself anymore, but being forced out of the driver's seat gave him the exact distance he needed to architect the greatest upset in motorsport history right from the pit wall. After beating Ferrari, Shelby didn't keep his high-performance engineering locked away on elite racetracks. He applied his brutal, track-tested logic to regular consumer cars. He took the Ford Mustang, which started as a heavy, comfortable cruiser, and stripped it down. By stiffening the suspension and cutting the weight, he created the GT350, forging a lineage of track-focused consumer cars that enthusiasts still line up to buy today. Yet his own physical hardware kept failing. By 1990, his original heart condition finally forced him into a heart transplant, followed shortly after by a kidney transplant. Despite his health, he refused to stop. He spent the next 20 years consulting for major manufacturers and sketching out new performance machines until he passed away in 2012 at the age of 89. Carroll Shelby engineered some of the fastest machines on Earth because his own engine was dying. When his body took away the one thing he loved most, he didn't quit. He just rebuilt the rules of the race.